Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So I thought I would create a little bit of a mini series of a couple of different cards because I was looking through a couple of boxes and I realized that I had a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, a miscellaneous vintage. So I thought I would make a couple of videos where I would do a rummage through this box of random vintage. Although the cards themselves are sort of sorted in a little bit. But overall it was kind of fun just to see, because back when I used to have the idea in my head of doing a whole run of Topps and Bowman, is that I would buy different lots or singles here or there at different card shows, and I would kind of throw them in the box with the intention of eventually accumulating enough of a starter set that I would start working on it, and at that point I would put together a checklist and then do the rest of it. Well, a bunch of these were stuff that the project never got started. Or basically maybe it started briefly and then didn't go anywhere. And while I do have some sets that I am going to work on, and a little bit of a roadmap of some different ones that I'm going to work on, I ended up putting my focus in certain sets, and a bunch of these are just never going to happen. Especially the ones in the later 60s and 70s that I'm probably just never going to do, because I'm just not interested in working on a set of that size, especially at this point, especially with a lot of the other projects and things I got working on. So I thought, hey, at least we'll get a video out of it. And it's definitely not because it's an easy video to record, because really I'm just going to show cards and flip through them, if that's what you're thinking. No, that's exactly why it is. That's pretty much exactly why I'm doing it. Praise the content gods on easy content. That said, I am going to go through it, and like I said, I'll have a couple different episodes that I'll be able to do from this. So here's the box. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. There's a 1960 Bill Mazeroski that's kind of sitting there. I don't think there's a lot of those in here. There's definitely some sets in the 70s that are very heavily represented. So this episode, we're going to go into 1971 Topps. I do have a number of them. I want to say a little over 100 cards that are sitting there. I do have some high numbers. I've got some stars and some Hall of Famers in there as well. So believe it or not, that is an accumulation of cards that I accumulated over years of time with little lots that I would grab here and there, and then over time that's basically what I wound up with. Now, just doing a quick high level, I did do a list just to see basically a lot of the ones that would probably make the most sense. But in addition to it, I've got a bunch of stuff from 68 Topps, 66 Topps, 61 Topps, and 59, just for starters. And I'm pretty sure there's probably a couple more in there. I would say probably have a lot of 58s. I didn't put that on the list, but I'm pretty sure I've got that in there. And again, same thing. I accumulated some stars and some Hall of Famers, so we'll at least have 5 or 6 episodes out of this, and then we'll see if folks like it. Then maybe I'll grab some more stuff, because I've got a bunch of stuff sitting in boxes that I probably have done only a modicum of sorting to. And the secret, if you may ask, is how do you manage to accumulate that stuff and basically never do anything with it? And the answer is you accumulate them over years, and then you throw them in a box and forget about them for a decade. This is what has worked for me. And that's basically how we wound up with this. So this is episode 1. Like I said, I'll at least do 5 or 6 of them. And if people like it, they can let me know. Let me know in the comment what your favorite card was and what you would do if you had a similar kind of thing. If you had like some, old projects that never really got going, would you try to finish them? Would you try to do something else with them? Also, you're going to see a bunch of them are really in beat up condition. It was one of those situations where I would grab these lots here and there and I wasn't really worried about condition at all. So it's one of those things where 71 Topps will actually show it off pretty well with the black borders, and you'll see exactly how beat up some of these cards are. And and I didn't even show you the back of a bunch of them, and you'll be able to see exactly why they just kind of wound up there. But if I was going to do a set like that today, I would probably take a different approach. I'd probably get myself a decent sized starter lot that is already in kind of a condition that I was okay with, and then just add cards to it from there. Or get a lot of the Hall of Famers and stars right away. Even though I did wind up with some of them, is what you'll see when I show it to you. Anyway, let me go over to the clip. You'll check it out, and that'll be the rest of this video. And again, let me know feedback-wise if you'd be interested in seeing the rest of them. I will still do the series of the ones I've already got kind of queued up there on that list. And then beyond that, we'll see if I've got some other stuff that I'm able to show. I've even got some hockey cards that are piled up that may fall into the same category of stuff that kind of got started-ish and then never really happened anything with it. So let's go to the clip. All right, first one here in the little rummage that I'm going through. The cards are sorted in order, but other than that, I haven't looked at these in a long time, so we're going to go through it. I know for a fact, and just a quick scan through, that there are definitely some Hall of Famers and some stars in here. I won't make note of every single thing, but we'll go through them and we'll kind of pile through. Starting off here, World Champions card, so card number 1. Orioles Browns, we got that on there. I'll kind of fan through these, stopping here occasionally as we go. They are in numerical order. You can see a lot of damaged cards in it. George Scott, which is in a penny sleeve for some reason, but that's kind of how they were, so that's how they're sitting in the box. Dave Concepcion. Skip Pitlock. There you go. Reggie Jackson we got on there. A little bit scuffed up. There's a Reggie. 1971. Phil Necro. Lupinella. I just remember getting these in piles of cards over the years. Just little lots here and there and some singles, and it just kept accumulating. This is one that I actually remember that was kind of funny one. Boots Day. I actually remember having another card there that I found at a garage sale that was also an Expo Boots Day, and it's like, just the name, just kind of funny, Boots Day. We'll leave it to the vintage folks to talk about the history of some of these folks. William McCovey we got on there. That's card what, number 50. Steve Carlton we got on there. It's actually not a terrible card. Off center, of course. Dinged up in the corner, but not terrible. Image on it at least is pretty clean. It's going to be better than some of the examples we'll see upcoming. Gene Mock, the Expos manager. We got some leaders cards. We got the Tom Seaver one here, and another Tom Seaver with Bob Gibson and Ferguson Jenkins. It's actually not terrible, again, off center. But off center and scuffed up, get used to it because you're going to see a lot of those. Pete Ham, Jim Nettles, Jim Spencer, and kind of an action shot. You do have a number of those sitting in this set. Ken Brett, Bob Lemon, manager. Pete Rose we got on there. That's card number 100. Topps did do a lot of the star players and some of the even numbers. So I think that was on there. Ted Simmons, Cookie Rojas. Good action shot on this one, actually. Kurt Blefary. Sam McDowell. You can see getting some of the more beat up cards here as we go. Gary Moses with the airbrush hat. You got to have that. Early 1970s, Billy Martin again with the airbrush hat. You got Rod Carew. This is actually a decent copy. Not terrible. 210. Diego Segui. And believe it or not, I did sneak a couple of high numbers on there, but we're going to get a couple of good names in this pile here as we go forward. Oops, let me go there. Joe Morgan, very scuffed up. It is an action shot, but it is very scuffed up to say the least. Beta Pinson. Juan Marichal. World Series Game 4, the Reds stay alive. I do enjoy kind of this little thing going on over here. It's always kind of interesting. Billy Williams. You can see there from the damage up here. That tends to be the case with some of these towards the tail end of this pile. Jim French. Hank Aaron there. Again, same kind of damage. Dodgers team card we were actually talking about on the live recently. And that's this I would kind of consider miscut at this point, with a diamond cut to go along with it. So it's got the twofer. Leon Jones. Harmon Killebrew. Again, damage on the side and also off center. Tony Perez. 6 series checklist. Frank Robinson. Chuck Tanner. Astros team card. Water damage, and I think a lot of other things going on with it. And Sandy Alomar. So last couple were definitely high numbers. That's towards the tail end of it, but you got a Sandy Alomar to finish off that pile. So there's the first little edition of a vintage rummage. I would say about a little over 100 cards sitting there. This was at one point going to be probably a little starter to go along with it. I probably wouldn't go with stuff in this kind of condition at this point if I was going to do it. But I gave up on that project a long time ago. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to go through the pile since it was sitting in the box for all this time. So that's the first one. I've got some other ones that I'll go into. Some stuff from the 60s, including the early 60s, even some stuff from the late 50s that was sitting inside of that box. And we'll have a little bit of fun with it as we go forward. Do a couple more episodes of this. So if you enjoy it there, more videos coming up on the channel. Live streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we basically don't show cards. And here's a video where we do. So there you go. A little bit of a mix and match. Otherwise, it's the longest running episodic, whatever it is. And basically it's just an avenue to make fun of Eric. That's really all we do it for. And really, is there a more noble cause? And we've definitely have some conversation related to some of the stuff came up this week. So we'll have some fun with that coming up this week. Also, the podcast episodes are recorded on Mondays, but I drop them on Tuesdays. We'll have a little bit of fun with that as well. And then we'll go forward with that. Otherwise, feel free to let me know what your favorite cards were in some of these. Like I said, some of them weren't terrible, but other ones were definitely more on the terrible side. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much. And we'll catch you in the next one.